don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey and Wednesday too. Thursday, I don't care about you. It's Friday, I'm in love.
Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm not surprised.
I'm Shane.
Oh, Shane.
Welcome to a house show,
Yeah,
guys.
I hadn't thought of anything.
Welcome to the house show.
Yeah, I just kind of started the recording. That's
Yep.
what we do on these house shows.
That's right.
They're fun and fancy free.
That's right.
We haven't done one in a while, and we
A
were just
long
like,
time.
This is
We're like-
impromptu, for sure.
we got together this weekend, and we ended up going to a Smackdown. This last weekend's Smackdown.
Yeah.
SmackDown
SmackDown
Live.
Live.
What's the date on that? It's
February 4th,
Yeah, the February 4th one.
Oklahoma
2022.
In Oklahoma City.
Shane already had seats.
City. I did.
Yeah, you probably saw Shane on your screen.
Yeah.
He's front row center.
I'll
Ish.
have to post a picture because my nephew sent me one because I was second row for when SmackDown was in Tulsa in August.
Yeah, I saw you on that one as well.
He shot me that picture and then the one of me just on Friday night.
Yeah, we were looking down at you, and we
I
were
kept
just like,
looking up, but I couldn't see.
I mean, where we
I
were,
mean,
it was very dark.
Yeah, we were in an area that was very dark on the opposite side, and
I was
Yeah.
front row center.
but the chairs were very comfortable.
Matt and I, the chairs weren't so comfortable. Matt and I probably would have left early.
We literally said if
talked
we had
about
had to sit next to people, we probably would have left about an hour into the show.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why we're recording this, because we just wanted to bitch about SmackDown. a little
I
bit.
mean,
Yep.
it was not a good experience.
No.
I mean, Matt and I would have looked down at Shane, who couldn't see us, but we could see him, and he never looked enthused.
No.
He looked like he was at a funeral for a family member that had passed that he didn't necessarily like, but he liked their significant other a lot, so he just felt bad for them.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how you felt?
That's a good way to
That's
put
what it looked like. Where he's like upset for his aunt, but he really didn't like his uncle.
Because Shane was sitting next to like two little kids, and these two little kids just kept like jumping around and
Yeah.
everything, and it was just like, are you guys watching the same show we're watching?
Yeah.
And
It
that's
was-
when we kind of realized, like, throughout the show, that Matt and I were like, oh, this
That's
is
right.
for the children.
This is for kids,
Yes.
For the children.
not for us 35 to 40-year-olds.
It's Hulkamania, but it's not Hulkamania done well. Like, where it's like, oh, the Hulkamania is for children. But this is for kids, but just because, like, it's big and bright and loud, maybe? Because it's on TV, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they added sound effects for the pyro, guys.
It's definitely more
They
of
do that.
a show for those watching at home than it is for people who are actually attending.
I absolutely
Oh,
implore
I
you.
completely
Implore
agree.
you.
I
to
literally
not-
thought that as soon as Paul Heyman started talking,
Yeah.
and the audio in the arena was absolutely dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
I could understand.
oh,
though.
wait. This is a product for the TV.
Yeah.
This is, like,
I
we're,
can-
we're here just as noise.
Honestly,
I can
they'd
remember
be
going to house shows years ago and
I
you
don't know
things
if-
that weren't televised and having a great time.
They are still
But
good. I will
ones
attest to
that
that.
apparently are made for TV suck to be live in attendance.
It's
you know?
basically like going to a live event and then not paying the extra money on Hulu. So it's like, oh, like the like 5 minutes
I pay
commercial,
for
5
commercial
minutes
free on
commercial.
everything, so
Yeah.
having to sit through 400 commercials that WWE puts together of their own shit, it's rough.
It is.
I mean, literally, the theme music would play. The wrestler would come down to the ring,
People would be excited.
and we'd be like, yeah, all right,
Oh.
cool, that person. Woo!
Yeah, Charlotte Flair, Shinsuke
You know,
Nakamura.
I mean, we cheered when we were supposed to cheer. We
Yeah.
booed when we were supposed to boo. We
We-
tried to get into it as much as we
we
possibly
did
could.
try.
But then the ring would go dark, and it was obvious that they were at a commercial break. But like literally, as soon as they come back from commercial break, they would play a promo package, and then the lights would come back on, and their theme music would come back on. Like, oh, it's been playing this whole time, guys.
Yeah, it's like Charlotte Flair comes to the ring to a pop, lights go dark, so we know we're in a commercial, and then a package comes on, and then her music starts back up, and it's like,
Yeah. and
what
by
are we
that
to be
time-
excited about? We saw her, like, even on TV, it's like she came to the ring, it's fine if it starts and is Charlotte Flair, so whoever's on the other side of the ring, like, what are the chances of them winning?
But literally,
so, like,
they're
it's
having-
fine if they don't get an entrance.
They're having to stand there in the ring, just doing absolutely nothing.
Well, the
for
excitement
3
gets-
minutes.
Yeah.
Any excitement you did have got completely
Oh yeah,
sucked
there was
out of your
there.
bottom
I'm
toe.
sure there was every time that they came back from a commercial break that the bulk of the crowd was just dead silent because you didn't know if you were supposed to be cheering anymore, or
Yeah.
by that point you didn't really give a
No,
fuck.
they,
And, like,
they,
how
they
does
never,
the-
they never
yeah.
really gave us a clue if it was, like, only because the ring went dark did we know that they were on a commercial.
Could you imagine, like, the apathy that we had, and then imagine if you are a like trained and talented wrestler, not even just somebody that wrestles, not even if you're like Nia Jax, but like, what if you are Charlotte Flair? What if you are
Cesaro. Like,
what if you
literally
yeah.
Cesaro was on the outside of the ring for a match with Ricochet versus Ridge Holland.
with Sheamus on the
That
outside.
and Sheamus is on the outside as well. The match goes 2 minutes.
I
They
mean,
go to a commercial,
yeah.
and magically, Adam Pearce, not SmackDown general manager Adam Pearce, comes out and
Tells the crowd.
tells the
WWE
crowd, not TV, it's dark at this point. It's on commercial. He goes, "Oh, you want a tag team match?" And then it comes back, and they're having a tag team match, which goes 2 minutes.
Which, like,
Yep.
if you were watching at home, you'd cue Michael Cole, be like, and now we have a tag team match.
Michael
During
Cole
the
would be like,
commercial-
during the commercial, Adam Pearce came out and made it a tag. Like,
Which isn't, of course, broadcast to us because we don't get the commentary, and we shouldn't. But I'm sitting here watching this, and I'm thinking back. I'm like, well, we had big televised shows from the like late '80s on with like Clash of Champions. Can you imagine Clash of Champions? It had to have felt more like a wrestling show than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know that they just like had to have implored commercial breaks more correctly.
Well, even on Clash of Champions, you had longer than 2-minute matches.
I mean,
You know,
absolutely.
When you've got
Clash of
6
Champions.
matches that happen in the first half hour or first hour of a 2-hour show. That says a whole lot about the quality of the matches. They didn't last for
there's
shit.
no-
The theme songs and commercials that we watched in studio or in the arena lasted longer than the actual match itself.
you guys may have seen my tweet that I made while I was sitting there. I was like, does anyone have a stopwatch on these matches? Because it was pitiful. Like,
It's not wrestling.
I went to a wrestling show
and I didn't see any wrestling.
and I didn't see any wrestling.
Yeah. I paid to get front row tickets to a wrestling show, and I really wish that every executive that works for WWE would pay out of their own pocket to come to one of these shows and sit there and pinpoint where in all of that production is worth the money that not only myself but everybody else that is buying a ticket to this fucking show, where is it actually worth their money? You know, you guys had tickets all the way up there and you were gifted tickets for
We were
free.
gifted the tickets,
Yeah, we
and
had-
we still literally, we were an hour into the show, and we were like, if we were sitting next to people, we would probably
Yeah, we
leave.
got like weird like box seat tickets from a friend who, you know, whoever they sponsor the arena or whatever. So it was, we were sitting in like comfortable like computer chairs, and
had a waitress if we wanted one.
yeah, and it still was just like kind of pulling teeth. And it's weird because I've been to a WWF house show, I've been to NXT house shows where it's just wrestling.
And they're so much fun.
And they're so fun because the crowd is into it the whole time. It's match after match
I
after
mean,
match.
literally the biggest pops of the night was the Big E hot tag.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a built wrestling match, and the biggest pop of the night was a hot tag.
Yep.
As it should be. I mean,
Absolutely. A hot tag should be, I mean, it's an indictment to
I mean, it
tag
probably
team
shouldn't be
wrestling.
the biggest pop of the night, but
But I
it
mean,
was-
that was the biggest
but
match
it was
of
the
the night.
Yeah.
biggest pop of the night. Like,
Yeah,
it
was-
was bigger than, like, everyone started chanting Goldberg when he came out, but no one was really popping for him.
No.
one really popped for Ronda Rousey when she came out.
No. I mean, they
But
also.
the hot tag, everyone popped for that.
Yeah, because
'Cause
you
we
know
were
what
like-
works?
we-
Wrestling. You know what also works? Tag team wrestling, when done even when it's done even in a half-ass way, it's still great. There's a reason why, like, the Midnight and Rock and Roll were bringing in incredible amounts of money at shows back in the day that weren't even televised because like was great tag team wrestling
Yeah.
that did the right thing. There's a reason why wrestling is predetermined, and it's to get the biggest reaction out of the people, out of the crowd as possible, and milking that. And this was like, it's like if you're trying to get milk, they just like cut the udder open and let it all fall out. It's just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I wanted something that was remotely close to being worth the ticket value, not just my ticket, but even worth a free ticket, and it wasn't.
I wasn't even sports entertained.
No, the most sports entertained I got was Heyman, and even his promo went a little long.
I was more sports
That was
pissed
15
off.
minutes long, and yes,
It went long.
It was very, like, I was feeling it. I was like, this is way too long.
Yeah, I was pissed because there was so much micromanaging done ringside, where you're trying to be involved in the show and be excited and cheer and whatnot, and you have people at ringside coming around telling you to sit down, don't do this, don't say this. Yeah.
Crowd
So-
control thing. It's like, no, you shouldn't control the crowd.
No. And instead, you had us sitting there going, with our hand on our face, just kind of staring off into a ring that nothing worthwhile was happening in.
Yeah, and it's like, if you let me stand up, maybe I could at least suspend disbelief because you're not doing a very good job of it.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been going to live events for a really long time, Shane. Is this the...
This may have been the worst show that I've been to.
There has to have been other ones where they do the start-stop commercial thing? Or was it just more noticeable
I think it's
here?
just gotten much, because I remember
Yeah,
us
it's
going
just
to that
more.
Raw a few years ago, and it was not that bad.
I do remember going to a Raw a few years ago, and I do not remember it being... I don't remember really much from that show outside of a flex-off. And Vince McMahon calling us hillbillies, which was very nice.
Yeah.
I went to Smackdown in August, and there was a lot of that stuff happening then, but I don't remember, or maybe it was just
A
better
show.
stuff, more entertaining.
Maybe you
so
had
it
a
didn't...
couple extra drinks before you went in. Yeah, hung out with Matt Riddle beforehand.
I was on TV with the bottom of my beer falling off, so that was a fun way to start the show.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't remember there being as many stop-start commercial breaks, sit down, stand up, be quiet, blah blah blah. I do remember them picking on the kid in the front row because he was wearing a tank top and he was a big kid. So, he had a lot of excess stuff showing, and one of the guys came over at that point and said, the people backstage said that they need you to put this shirt on, and they gave him a t-shirt because they didn't want to have this big kid.
To have a fat kid on TV?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like, let's just say what they were thinking.
Yeah.
It's like, have
so,
you not seen wrestling
in that
fans?
sense,
We're
they
not
had a kid
typically
in the
the
front
thinnest.
row in tears on camera
Oh my
because
God.
he was like a 10-year-old kid being told that, A, you're too fat to be on
Oh my
camera.
God. That's
and
really
what
upsetting.
you're wearing is not appropriate. But,
I was like,
here,
already
have a free t-shirt.
I was already upset with this. Like, whenever they announced WrestleMania for Dallas, we immediately were like,
We don't live that far away. We live 3 hours away.
We're 2.5 hours away, guys. We don't have to fly anywhere. We can drive down.
Mm-hmm.
We're good. We can do this. And like literally,
This will be the most affordable and easiest way to see WrestleMania.
Yeah. And just as time has progressed, everything WWE does, it just takes a little bit more out of me caring
Yeah.
at all.
Momentum. Like, we've seen the house shows, and there's momentum. Match, intermission, fine. Everybody can go take a piss and get their piss out, come back, and have matches. It's not every 10 seconds another piss break commercial where it's like, oh, cool. Like, Matt and I went to a New Japan, but New Japan is different. They don't do live events quite the same way. It's a wrestling promotion, so they wrestle all the way through, and the crowd was the hottest they ever got at the end of the night.
I mean, that crowd was 5,000 people in a 20,000 seat arena.
And sounded like 16,000.
Yeah. It was so loud in there because everyone was just going insane for what was happening in the ring.
Because everybody that was there absolutely cared about wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's leads back to the point where it's like, oh, this is for kids. like because the kids were the ones that were having fun, and it was fun when they showed the kids enjoying themselves on the like screen or whatever. But what was happening in the ring was enjoyable for nobody over the age of 12.
No. No. And, you know, when the most entertaining match of the night is the dark match that nobody sees, you know, the go-home match where they're supposed to send everybody home happy, what does that say about everything that you just showed us for the previous 2 hours?
Actually, there was a point in that match
that was very sad.
Where, so, like, there were some crowd members that had a sign. What we couldn't see what the sign said.
It said something about Heyman and Reigns. I'm trying to remember what the fuck it said. But it was something about love a cow or something like that.
Well, so during this dark match go home, like literally Paul Heyman or Roman goes and takes the sign before the match starts, tears it up basically.
Very fun house show vibe.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was the Bloodline versus Drew McIntyre and the Viking Raiders. Okay. And so the match gets going, it's whatever going on, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the match, Heyman gets fired up, takes his jacket off and starts
full Bluto,
does the Bluto
very
thing
funny
with the crowd. It's very great. The only problem while this was happening is Eric had a move done to him in the ring
8 minutes
He's
ago.
just laying
and
on the
he's
ground.
literally selling like a forearm
Yep.
in the ring while everyone else is over.
Yeah.
Like the Bloodline is all on the floor.
Well, no, like one
hanging
of the Usos was on the apron,
But it wasn't the legal man.
no,
the
it wasn't.
legal man
It wasn't
had gotten down.
It wasn't the legal man, but the Viking Raider who was selling for so long was on the ropes on the heel side selling, and it's like all we would have had to do to fix that was him to like look around for the ref and like get a kick in every once in a while to whatever it was he was selling, or at least start to make him sell something, and that would be fine. But he was just like standing there and like looking down while the other guy is just selling for like legitimately 5 minutes of Paul E doing a like cartoony like run at the guy, and then they hold him back. It's like, oh no, you can't hit a fan, but you're mad, and it was cute and funny. But if you're gonna do it,
that part was enjoyable.
You got
what was happening in the ring. It was just like
this poor son of a bitch is selling
I
nothing.
feel so bad because I remember seeing the Viking Raiders back when they were the War Raiders in New Japan and ROH, and I considered them actually the Young Bucks' best opponent at that time.
Yeah, they were over. They were
so good.
They were like pretty aerial for big boys too. They did like I believe one of them used to do a cartwheel.
Well, he still does.
He still does? Okay.
Every once in a while, doesn't he? Yeah. I think he did it in the match.
Did he? I don't even remember it. All I remember is
and Eric always like body slams Ivar
onto him,
onto the guy. It's the smaller guy body slamming the bigger guy, which I always thought was a fun spot.
They were a much better team until they got into the WWE machine.
And main roster.
Yeah.
Main roster.
Yeah.
And they were still pretty good when they first joined NXT.
Well, because they had it was a NXT War Games. They had a big match that a lot of people liked, and then right after that they got called up.
But literally, if they didn't do their little raid,
and that is so fucking stupid.
Raid, you wouldn't remember these guys at all at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, you wouldn't. I was like, oh, I forgot about them.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I could do, if we did word association with the people that were on this show. Drew McIntyre.
Sword.
Exactly. Ronda Rousey.
Joan Jett.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, it's like, Joan Jett, I guess, because not even Piper anymore.
Ridge Holland.
Face mask.
Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, this is how
it's
WWE
if
plans out their people at this point.
Here's a counterpoint. Arn Anderson.
Badass.
Enforcer,
Spinebuster. Like, you would name something. Yeah, exactly.
Cody's manager.
Yeah, you would name
Glock.
something. Yeah. Like, you would say something about him. You'd say Arn Anderson, Enforcer, Spinebuster.
4 Horsemen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like Ricky Steamboat.
Dragon.
Skin the Cat. Like, you're not saying things that are
Savage,
like
Mania, Goat,
Slim Jim.
Trilogy.
1989.
But yeah, here we have Sword.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do with that sword?
I mean, here we go. Jinder Mahal.
Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
No slight to him, but like that's the only reason he's getting pushed.
And unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, Shinsuke.
Boogs.
Best music.
I mean, yeah, the music's great.
He's got good music.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I mean,
notice
Intercontinental Champion wasn't one of the words that any of us thought
none of us said that.
No, yeah, none of us said that. None of us said AJ Styles because they haven't had good matches in WWF. And honestly, after
God, do you remember when Shinsuke and AJ Styles met at WrestleMania and everyone's like, "Oh my God, we're gonna get an amazing match,"
and it was a popcorn fart.
and then Nakamura
Hey, remember?
hit a low blow to AJ Styles to be disqualified.
When he could have just hit him with a flying knee and been a crazy guy.
Yep.
And now he's just the crazy comedy guy.
Remember a couple weeks ago at Royal Rumble when AJ Styles and Shinsuke started it off, and it was like, cool, this would be a hot little start off, and then Shinsuke got eliminated within the first 3 minutes. Wah, wah.
It just blows my mind, and that's just talking main roster. They've totally fucked up NXT at this point. That was the one shining light in the WWE family.
Yeah.
Because I would watch it every week.
Yeah.
Even when the
NXT.
It was an hour long, three matches.
Even when it went to the 2 hour long, I still watched it, and even though it wasn't as good as what it once was, it still wasn't horrible.
It was still a wrestling show.
It was still a wrestling show. And now that they've gone to the 2.0, it is main roster with guys that I don't give a shit about.
With seeing this SmackDown Live, I was thinking, you know what? They should. It would be better off if they just went back to, NXT did a studio show. WCW used to do studio shows in Orlando. Obviously, WWE is setting up for a sale. Why can't they just, if they're going to do this shit, do it at a studio for free, you fucking assholes. Mm-hmm. Don't make anybody have to sit through this. Do it at a studio for free and record a 4-hour show with some matches and cut what you want and what you need instead of that. Go back to studio stuff. If you're gonna tour this, you can save more money.
I remember
somehow.
Very true.
I remember in the 90s going to a show in Omaha, and it was a super show where they were recording multiple Raws, and we were there for a 5-hour wrestling show, basically.
Which is incredibly long.
Went there expecting to be there just for Raw, so you figured maybe 3 hours. Ended up being there for over 5 hours. And that was so much easier to sit through and so much more entertaining, that whole entire 5-hour process, than the 2-hour segment that we sat through just the other day.
There's also, obviously the roster has been thinned out quite a bit, and they still have an incredible amount of wrestlers.
There's still people sitting in the back not doing anything.
And they're giving Natalya 3 spots on the show.
There's people sitting in the back.
Drew Gulak was in the background of Drew McIntyre walking to the ring.
Yeah.
Xia Li, they opened the door and Xia Li was there as a, I guess, it was supposed to be Ronda or something.
I'm sure Xia Li and Natalya will probably start feuding at some point.
Probably.
Sure, whatever.
Which, cool. I love Xia Li. I thought she was freaking awesome.
You've got all these people
I don't
in the back
I don't
that they
hate
aren't doing
Natalya, but
anything
she doesn't
with.
need to be on the same show 3 times.
But then you've also got all these people in the ring that they're not doing anything with because they're out there for a 2-minute match that you can't engage with anybody. You can't get anything across. And I understand that they're competing with the Olympics right now. I don't know, was SmackDown on Fox or was it on Sci-Fi this week?
No, it was on Fox.
Okay, yeah. So there's no fucking reason that should have been there.
The only reason Raw is on Sci-Fi is because the Olympics are on USA.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know if Fox was doing something too.
They're competing with themselves.
Yeah, so if anything, they should be trying to hook more people right now because, their other show is going to a different network.
I wouldn't be surprised if Friday night was possibly one of the lower rated SmackDowns in a while because it was the opening ceremonies for the Olympics. So, it was...
But they didn't try to compete with it.
But the thing is... But they did try and compete with it.
How?
Because
Ronda was on the show?
They announced Ronda was going to be there. They announced Drew was going to be back, which I know we don't I don't mind him.
Yeah,
Shane doesn't care for him, but I think
he's not my least favorite, but he's
He
not one
looks
that I'm
like
yay.
he has
But
a,
it's the
he has
first
a
time
champion look. He doesn't have a champion aura.
they never really announced the Goldberg thing, but if you were paying attention at all, you kind of had an idea that he was probably going to show up.
Well, you know what? The best that Goldberg came out and people did Goldberg, and people backed off halfway through him getting into the ring, and then he said a few things to complete silence.
Like literally, I think I said his lines as he was saying them to Michael.
Yeah,
because like it was obvious what he was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and even the Charlotte and Ronda thing was
Well,
bad.
and that was a whole
bad.
convoluted like what?
Yeah,
like bringing up Sasha Banks, who's not even there,
and got kicked out of the
apparently
ring.
Sasha said something. I guess she made some comment over the weekend.
Yeah,
or not over the weekend, before SmackDown. Because my buddy Logan that I was with, he was saying something about Sasha Banks possibly being in some trouble because of something that she tweeted out about. I guess it had something to do with Ronda.
But Ronda picked Becky, so Charlotte was like, whatever, you suck. And she's like, oh no, well then I'll just pick you.
It was just the most convoluted, like, I didn't understand what we were trying to get. Like, and also the fact that Charlotte didn't win the Royal Rumble, but because Ronda picked Becky, she was still getting to pick her challenger. So it was just kind of like,
yeah, it's like, no, she does
not
not get to do
you're
that.
not even paying attention to what you wrote 2 weeks.
What you do is you have a contenders match for that.
Or let's not even talk about championship contenders matches.
But yeah, the point, like, I remember it was the height of like the Attitude Era, pre-WCW folding. I went to a house show at the Myriad, a famous venue for Mid-South Wrestling in the 80s, the Myriad. It just was a big dirt arena. And it was just a house show, and it was completely packed. Mm-hmm. And the last match on the show was a 4-way match, which rarely good, but it was like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kane, fucking Goldust, and like The Undertaker. And everybody was shitting their pants about how fun it was. Mm-hmm. Granted, I was a kid, but my dad was even entertained, and he took me to it and had no interest in it. No, it wasn't Kane. It was not Undertaker. It was Mick Foley, Mankind.
Yes.
And my dad thought that stuff was fun because he understood the ridiculousness of it at the time, and it was like shocking for shocking's sake, and we can argue about what that has done to wrestling, but even the shocking element of wrestling no longer exists. The Crash TV thing, the thing we are mad about Vince Russo for in hindsight, would still be potentially more entertaining than this low-fat milquetoast.
Yep. I mean, I remember going to house shows when I was a kid. One specifically, I've mentioned it before. There was a Brother Love segment in the ring where it was Brother Love, Miss Elizabeth, and Sensational Sherry.
Sounds great.
There was a match between Macho Man and Ted DiBiase.
Great.
There was Demolition versus the Hart Foundation.
Incredible.
Yeah, you had all of these things on a house show, not televised whatsoever, and then we have this show that we pay money to go to, in the...
Yeah, but you pay twice as much
the new age
to watch commercials.
And we get... Can you remember too many of the matches off the top of your head?
I mean, I could probably name them if I tried.
I don't remember who Jinder fought.
Shinsuke.
Okay, so yeah, there was that one.
Natalya and Aaliyah. Which Aaliyah is a 6-year veteran of the WWE program, and she's just now on main roster because she's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not a good wrestler.
2-minute matches.
New Day versus Los Lotharios.
That one I remember.
The best match
which
of
was
the night.
the best match of the night.
Best match on the show.
You had Ricochet
you had
versus
Ricochet,
Ridge, which
and
then
the
turned
tag.
into Ricochet and Cesaro versus Ridge and Sheamus, which was horrible as
And
well.
the only good thing about that at all was that it was fun to see Ricochet go Spider-Man for a second.
Yeah, and then you had the Roman.
We didn't even get to see the
bloodline.
swing.
No
We
swing.
didn't get to see Cesaro's swing.
No.
And also,
I'm a huge Cesaro fan,
I
and
love Cesaro. I love Swiss.
When the original match ended, Cesaro was standing right in front of me. He's got surprisingly hairy legs. Didn't realize that, not seeing him as up close before. Same with Jinder. Jinder has way too hairy legs, and he should not be wearing short shorts anymore. He needs to go to long pants.
If you're gonna be that hairless up top and that beefy up top, maybe shave the legs.
Finish it out.
No one's gonna be mad at you for shaving the legs.
Yeah, or wear just long pants.
Or you just let it all hang out like one Arn Anderson.
Yeah. But yeah, when the Ricochet match turned to a tag match, that's when I got up to go get another beer because Logan had gone up at the start of the Ricochet match to get a beer, and he made it down right as the pin was happening in that quick 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we had a little beer stand right up at the top of the stairs from us.
I made the mistake. I got a
So
beer,
I did the same.
and then I was like, I'll go get another beer, and it was like after 8 o'clock, but Arena's like an hour before the show's over, no longer serve beer, and I was like, I guess I should have got 2.
Yep.
Because now I'm just kind of waiting for this to be over.
Speaking of waiting for it to be over, I hope you weren't waiting for this show to be over, but we are ending it now.
Yes,
it's
time.
Like I said, these house shows, we like having them. We need to do them more often, definitely.
It's hard when, what do you get?
We
One
should do a
Raw,
live
one
take on
SmackDown.
Mania, and then 7 years from now, when we finally get to watch it again and rediscuss it,
It's such a
we
shame.
can compare notes.
Such a shame that we can't have a touring network NXT where we can go to 2 NXT shows a year.
Yeah.
And talk about those that are fun.
Black and gold.
Where we can be excited about.
I'd love to say that I've heard that they're going to start touring again, but
Who
they
cares?
are going to be in Dallas WrestleMania weekend, so
Yeah, for a
maybe
takeover.
they are going to start doing some touring again.
Mm.
Who knows if that show would actually be any good, because
Who knows where it is
honestly,
right now.
there's 2 people in NXT that I give probably 2 shits about. So
Yeah. I do want to shout out before we leave. The dark match that Matt and I caught. We didn't catch the first one. We caught the second one. It was Ciampa and Roddy, and people were pretty
had to ask
into it,
that.
and it was nice.
Was it Roddy or was it Pete Dunne?
it was Roderick Strong.
Okay, because the review thing that I read, somebody had wrote Pete Dunne, but that was the only time that they had wrote his name. They didn't mention him after that. It just said...
No, it was Roderick. They look nothing alike, which is
Okay.
pretty funny.
Yeah, that match was...
Because I remember you guys saying
that was a
Roddy the
solid
first night, and then
a
I read
solid
the next
house
day.
It
show
was
match.
such a great match for the 6 to 7 minute match that it was. That'll probably show on main event.
Yeah,
or
that's a
something.
7-minute house show match that would have been a 12 or 15-minute main event match on a good NXT.
Yeah, but if they
like,
aired it on
house
SmackDown, it would be 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
Yeah, so it was nice to see that, and it was like, oh, cool, and I was like kind of pumped, and then it just sucked all the air.
And I hate that I'm smacking down on SmackDown so much because it's been my favorite of the 2 shows for quite a while because they've got the
I
upper
think
hand.
the reviews
But-
coming out from everybody online are basically that it was a very bad show, and unfortunately, we were there live.
Yeah. I want to read it. I want
if-
an IOU.
I mean, if another show comes through and I was given free tickets, I'd probably go again. But
That's the thing is, if I was given free tickets, I probably would, but I don't know if or when I'll want to spend money on a WWE show.
I mean, Matt and I didn't have
Anytime. in the
hence
near
the reason
future.
why we're not going to WrestleMania. 'Cause
Yep.
I just don't want to spend money on it.
Can't
right
trust
now.
you,
And that's
and
expensive.
you're way too expensive for what you give in
Matt and
return.
I, last minute, were
You're
offering
like
tickets,
a bad whore.
and we were both free for the evening. And I don't regret going, but I will not be purchasing a ticket anytime
I
soon.
enjoyed dinner with my boys
Yeah. That's right.
afterwards
Uh-huh.
more than I did the show.
It was very nice to be
Bro. If you're ever in
a-
Oklahoma City, you should check out the Parlor. I don't remember the name of the pizza place off the top of my head.
Providence Pizzeria. I
Yeah,
think that's what it's
Yeah,
they're
very
pretty
good,
damn,
yeah.
pretty damn tasty.
Pretty damn tasty.
Pizza was
and
nice.
they're beautiful.
See, we still brought the food,
right.
even, even to a house show.
That's right. Took it to the finish instead of at the beginning.
Yeah, because WWF had no nourishment.
That's right.
Well, everyone, if you like this episode, which, like I said earlier, hope we get to do some more of these house shows, because I enjoy these, like, just chatting away.
Yeah, it's nice to do one every once in a while. We're like,
No
what are you
script.
excited
I've always thought about just cutting the stuff like that we randomly talk about in between when we actually record and putting it into a house show, but it'd just be this like just random like 2 minutes of something. So it's
I mean, to be
weird.
You could
To
have
be-
that be like a little tag at the end.
I mean,
Oh,
I
that's
could,
fun.
but-
To be honest, like my favorite podcasts have no point outside of to talk shit, and so you know,
Like my favorite one currently still is the fake doctors, real friends, and the majority of the time when they're not talking about the show, they're
Tangents.
talking about getting drunk and getting high. So
Yeah, I just want.
I bring the alcohol and I'll go outside and hit my weed vape in between.
Yeah. People are entertaining. I'll listen to them talk about anything.
But if you like any of our episodes, please go out there, rate, review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. If you ever have any questions, comments, concerns,
Recipes, drink ideas.
If you have an excuse for maybe
if you have a topic you want to hear us talk about,
yeah, no shit, we'll do it.
We like I said, we want to do more of these house shows. Sometimes it's just we don't have anything.
Got some trivia
to
you
say
think you're going to stop us with?
Yeah, send us a your argument for Drew McIntyre.
There you go.
Good luck.
But you can always email us those at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO.
X. Cue the Drew McIntyre theme song, which is still stuck in my head after hearing it for 15 minutes straight at WWF Smackdown.
I still feel the burns from the fire at ringside.
Oh, nice. They did have flames.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Pyro for what?
Laters.